What is infinity? What is it really? Not infinity in the mathematical sense, but infinity in the holistic sense. Where did the term infinity come from, and what is it trying to describe? What is the ultimate infinity? Well, I guess a channel like Infinite Insights should be able to answer what infinity is, right? And really, the reason that I named my channel Infinite Insights was because after doing much deep contemplation, much meditation, experimenting with many psychedelics, expanding my mind, doing research, spending years really contemplating the nature of existence and what this world really is at its fundamental core, I came to the realization that what infinity really means and what it's trying to describe is none other than reality itself. Reality itself, on a fundamental level, is infinite. Basically, anywhere that you turn, infinity follows. Whether you zoom out of the planet and you look at all of the stars, all of the planets, the solar systems, asteroids, um, dark matter, black holes, zooming out as far as you possibly can, galaxies. I'm not sure the exact number, but what scientists have come up with, but most likely there's an infinite amount of galaxies because if there's one thing that science tells you is that science doesn't really have an end. Science hasn't even really gotten close to discovering what the end would even look like. And there's a reason for that. And that's because reality is completely infinite. You will never get to the end of reality. And whether you zoom out into space and look at the, millions and billions of galaxies, or you zoom in to the smallest cell, and you zoom into a grain of sand, and you see all of its elements, and you keep zooming in, and then you see the subatomic particles, and then eventually, I guess string theory would come next, or quantum physics, something like that. Um, you will never hit rock bottom. You will never hit rock bottom because reality is completely infinite. And again, that comes back to the name of this channel, Infinite Insights. That's why I was so inspired to name my channel that. Well, I was influenced by actualize.org. He has a blog, and he calls his blog Infinite Insights. So he's one of my main inspirations. So that is really where the name came from. But the reason why I decided to put infinite in the title of the channel was because I had many realizations of what reality is, and I came to know that, or experience, it's really beyond knowing, I came to experience reality as infinity. And every single day, you look around, and the more conscious you become, the more aware you become, the more time you spend doing mindfulness practices and meditation practices and yogic practices, the more you start to see that there's way more that meets the eye. There's way more that's going on around us that we were perceiving before. And mindfulness is interesting because the more you get into mindfulness, the more you start to expand your consciousness and awareness, the more you start to see that, oh, like this thing doesn't really end, right? This expansion of reality, this expansion of beingness, of not really, I guess you could call it knowingness, but you could give it whatever name you really want to. Ultimately, reality has no, name per se. A name is just a product of language. The only way I could communicate to you in this video is by using language. And to get to the crux of infinity and reality itself, you have to move beyond language, and you have to see like, oh, my visual field is part of this infinite reality. My auditory field, every sensation in my body, every thought that I have, every memory that I have, every experience I've ever had, every feeling I've ever felt, and every feeling I will ever feel is part of this infinitely expanding field, I guess you could call it, of awareness, of consciousness. And that's really what infinity is. Infinity is not a bunch of numbers written out, in a line that, just keeps going and keeps going. Infinity is not an infinite amount of shapes that you draw, like 3-dimensional shapes, 4-dimensional shapes, 5-dimensional, on and on. No, what infinity is all of reality infinitely expanding forever, basically. And it's for people who are out there watching this video who don't have any idea of what I'm talking about, I suggest starting a meditation practice, a mindfulness practice. Do some research on what I'm talking about here. Do some research. Use even actualize.org. He has amazing videos that cover topics like infinity and consciousness and awareness. Look for like wise masters like that who are really passionate about discovering the truth of what's going on in this world and in their experience. And keep in mind, infinity, the concept of infinity and discovering the truth, it's intimately tied to your own personal everyday experience, because a lot of times we fall under the belief like, oh, well, we're just, these insignificant beings who are like these primal monkeys that are, spread out all over the planet, and we do good things sometimes, and then we do bad things other times, and we're these kind of imperfect biological creatures. But what all that is really is a story that has been perpetuated over time, and it's been perpetuated so much that everyone just kind of bought into it and started to believe it. And they're like, oh, okay, well, we did descend from so-and-so, and we are, we share DNA with so-and-so, so we must be, this biological, creature. And that couldn't be farther from the truth, because if you do enough investigation, like I talked about in my previous video, everything they told you was a lie that I just released. You don't really know what's true and what's false. So what's true and what's false needs to be intimately discovered for yourself. You need to, take on a discipline that will have you go inward, inside your body, inside your mind, to feel the sensations, to to become aware of your thoughts, to become aware of your belief structures that you have, your paradigms that you've had for however many years. And the more you do that, the more you will come to know infinity, and you'll come to see that infinity was never separate from you. You always were infinity. You always will be infinity. And, you know, infinity is the same thing as reality, the universe, God, consciousness, you know, whatever kind of grandiose term you want to use for it. All of that is basically describing the same fundamental substance. And I just like to use infinity because reality is just so multifaceted. There's just so many different aspects of reality that, you know, come into existence on a daily basis. Every single day, you know, you could spend an entire hour if you really want to, if you've trained your consciousness enough and your concentration and your awareness, you could spend an entire hour of your day just literally staring at your hand and studying the intricacies of all of the different, you know, glands and different lines in your hand. And you could literally just sit there for like an hour and look at your fucking hand. Okay. So, you know, obviously you have to have the patience and the concentration and the awareness to do that. You know, some people can't sit in a chair and sit still for 5 minutes. But yes, if you pay enough attention, if you raise your awareness enough, you will slowly start to become mindful and aware of this infinite, expanding consciousness reality that's always intimately connected to you. So that's pretty much it for today. 2 videos today. I'm on a roll, I know, but yeah, stay tuned for more. I hope you guys like this. Make sure to leave a like, comment down below. If you want to see more, subscribe, hit that bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one.